non-binary academic tried to free Palestine with woke protest. Instead, he was sentenced to 19 years for domestic terrorism. A Nazi activist has been sentenced to more than 19 years in prison after pleading guilty to firebombing a police car on a college campus. Casey Robert Goonan, perfect name, 35, committed a series of attacks at UC Berkeley as part of a anti-Israel pro-Nazi protest on June current year -1. Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is one of those places where this terrorist thought he could just get away with it. Oh, it doesn't matter. All the local politicians, all the local district attorneys, they're all on our side. They're just going to catch and release. I'll be back out in a day. It'll be like nothing ever happened. I won't even be charged. And he's right. He's not being charged at the state level. He's being hit with federal charges. California and the woke district attorneys at Berkeley, they got no say in this. That's what makes this so funny. Goonan, who uses they, them pronouns and is bipolar, lit a bag of 6 explosives on the University of California Police Department patrol car, causing the car to be engulfed in flames. So if that's not a terrorist act, I don't know what is. But how much you want to know or bet that this wasn't counted in the list of far-left terrorist attacks? Because they do this a lot. They destroy a lot of property. They burn a lot of cars. They wreck a lot of buildings. Yet none of those are counted as terrorist attacks. Now, the 35-year-old, who was handed a sentence of 19 years and 7 months on Tuesday, has been in custody since his initial arrest on June 17th, current year -1. Yeah, he thought he could get away with it. He thought he'd just be out the next day because this is Berkeley and the DA's on my side. But then the feds came in and said, "Nah, you coming with us, bitch." After spending over a year incarcerated, I've had time to reflect on the reality of my actions and the reality of my bipolar disorder. Yep, now he's going to try to play the, but I'm mentally ill, you can't punish me card. Oh, I understand that I need treatment, Goon told Judge Jeffrey White, the San Francisco Standard reported. Committing an act like this is outside of my general character, as my core belief is against perpetuating harm. Well, now you realize that prisoners get free health care, right? You're going to get 19 years of free treatment for your mental illnesses, both of them. And that's only 2 we know of. Goonan of Oakland and Pleasant Hill, California, pleaded guilty in January to 1 count of maliciously damaging or destroying property used in or affecting interstate commerce by means of firing an explosive. The court called the 35-year-old a domestic terrorist, adding that Goonan committed a felony offense that was intended to promote a federal crime of terrorism. Yeah, this is how we clean the streets of this trash. If the locals refuse to do it, we're going to have to do it at the federal level. The domestic terrorist said the attacks were inspired by Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel and called on fellow peers to destroy campus property in support of Palestine. But keep in mind, he's claiming that this goes against his core belief of not doing harm, right? That sounds so peaceful. He's such a good person. Freedom of expression and peaceful protest are deeply enshrined values in America, as the United States Attorney Craig H. Misakian. Anyone who crosses the line between peaceful protest and violence will be met with the full force of the law, he added. Unless they did it as part of the Summer of Love, unless he did it as part of the Burn, Loot, Murder riots, then they get away with it. Goonan also attempted to firebomb a federal building and U.S. courthouse in Oakland less than 2 weeks after the first arson attack, and set other fires to UC Berkeley campus on June 1st and June 13th and June 16th. And this is where I call bullshit on his but my bipolar excuse. If he had one instance of doing this, and then he turned himself in and he immediately, oh shit, I'm sorry. I was off my meds. I don't know what came over me. Maybe he could have gotten away with that excuse. The fact that he did this at least 3 other times, No, fuck you. This is a pattern of behavior right here. This is his normal behavior. I am glad the court saw through this bullshit and slapped him with that 19-year sentence. Like, this wasn't just a one-off heat of passion, I was off my meds and exploded incident. This was premeditated, probably over months, and done over the course of weeks. Yeah, they were firebombs of empathy. That's right. Yeah, he's not going to get off with the mental illness excuse here. Judge White ordered 15 years of supervised release after Gunin's release and ordered him to pay $94,267 in damages. That sounds about right for the cost of a police car. I think it's actually a lot higher than that because these companies really, ream the cops for those. But there's a lot of customization, to be fair. Yeah. I mean, what about the other incidents, though? I guess that's what I'd like to know. But anyway, this domestic terrorist could have taken untold lives had his violent attacks been more successful, and using the evils of Hamas as motivation speaks to his depravity. Thank you. Oh, but I'm bipolar. I got an excuse. Again, I would be a lot more sympathetic if this was a one-off incident and he immediately turned himself in and confessed and pled for mercy. I'd have a lot more sympathy. It's like what I say with the game industry, right? Like when they if someone makes a legitimate mistake and then they're called out on it and they immediately try to make the mistake right, okay, they get another chance. I mean, unless it's like the 9th time that's happened. If there's a pattern, then after a while, you don't get any more chances. But if they make a quote unquote mistake, they get called out, and then they spend 4 years doubling down and attacking everyone who calls them out. And only once they're on the verge of bankruptcy do they suddenly, we thought the error of our ways, guys. No, you didn't. You're only pretending. You're coming back to us now begging for money. No, you're not going to get any. He will have many long years in prison to think about his crimes, and the Department of Injustice will continue prosecuting political violence across America. Yeah, this is a good start. If we see more stories like this, and already we've seen a few incidents of Antifa being raided, which, I mean, they should have been. They've been a domestic terrorist organization for years. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Burn, Loot, Murder suddenly shuts down as soon as the heat got too high. But yeah, we're in for interesting times. Like the all these far left extremists that legitimately believed they could get away with terrorism because they were legitimately getting away with terrorism all this time. Now they know they can't anymore. Now maybe some of them are going to think twice before they go and do this again. Probably not, though, because they're not very bright. But regardless, whether the few smart ones don't commit the act in the first place, or those that do get locked up and we throw away the key, we're all safer as a result.